The official trailer for It Chapter 2 has finally dropped. What are my first impressions on it? Let's talk about it. It's a fucking shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. Mood and atmosphere. No, it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Yes, that's right. In this video, I want to give you my first impression thoughts on the official trailer for It Chapter 2, which dropped as of shooting this video about 10 minutes or so ago. I was ready to go to watch it when it first dropped because I have some voiceover work I have to do this afternoon, and I knew I wasn't going to have the time. It was going to be a bit tricky, so I wanted to sort of be prepared and capitalize on this opportunity. So, okay, what are my first impression thoughts? I really like this trailer. But reflecting on it in the few moments that I was preparing to do this video, I thought I like the first half of the trailer better than the second half of the trailer. And I think there's a very specific reason for that. I mean, the first half of the trailer is essentially a clip, right? I mean, for the first minute and a half or however long it was, I can't remember now, you're essentially watching a clip play out in real time. And one of my favorite scenes from It Chapter 1 is a scene that gets overlooked a lot when people talk about It Chapter 1. And it's the scene when Ben is he in the library or the school library or a public library? I forget where he is, but he's in a library, I think, right? You know, he's looking at a book. And in the background, you can see the librarian completely out of focus, okay? And she's in the background and she's kind of looking at him like this, and she's kind of weird. It's a weird, awkward kind of thing. And I remember when I saw it in the theater, I was like, oh, that's good. I like that. I like that shit. Subtle, in the background, not drawing too much attention to it. They didn't rack focus, right? They didn't kind of go from, focus in the foreground to focus in the background. No, they kept the librarian completely out of focus, and it was eerie and creepy and weird. And because it was out of focus, it distorted a lot of the features that you would normally see clearly in focus, so it looks even fucking weirder, right? Love that fucking shit. And I wanted to see more of that in It Chapter 1. Not saturated, because then obviously it's like, okay, we're overdoing it now. But watching this clip, there was moments of that in this clip. And it was a creepy fucking clip. It absolutely was. And less is more when you're trying to get into the psyche of somebody's head and really sort of kind of creep them out. So I loved when Beverly obviously goes over to her old apartment, and there's an old lady that lives there now. She walks in. Oh my God, this is my old place. The lady seems sweet. Nothing seems out of the ordinary at first, right? But then, of course, when she's there, once again, she's in focus. In the background, we see the old lady down the hall, out of focus. They don't rack focus to put the old lady at the end of the hall in focus. No, they keep her out of focus, which is a smart, creative choice. It's creepier that way. You will let the imagination of your viewer run wild because of how blurring somebody out of focus translate in terms of the light and shadow and the features and things like that. It's just, what the fuck is that down there? Oh, what the fuck is that? That's kind of creepy. What the hell's going on, right? And then, of course, we know it's the old lady, and she kind of does that thing, and, that was really cool. Really, really nice. I like that. And then they carried it one step further, of course, when they sit down for tea or coffee or whatever the fuck they're having. And the lady starts, talking about Derry and how when, somebody dies here, nobody really dies. And of course, that's great foreshadowing. And that gets into the psyche of Beverly's head. And then the old lady is just like, but I think it beautifully done. Like that kind of shit I really like. I like that. I like the color in terms of the cinematography and what they've done in post to help accent and accentuate and complement, obviously, what the raw footage. Really like the way it looks in terms of the visual aesthetic. Looks really nice. The way the light was falling in the space looked really kind of creepy already. And then, of course, I love when the lady goes off into the kitchen and she kind of peeks around the corner. It was almost alien-like. Like, because she's an old lady and because she suddenly got nude and she's naked, woo, ah, yeah, ow! oh, you know what I'm saying? She's naked in the background now, right? But the way she peers her head out like that, like it's almost awkward. It's a weird sort of, oh, what the fuck was that? Like that's kind of weird. Is that a little kid? Is that a, oh no, it's a being of some, oh, it's an old lady. Because it's an old lady who's naked, right? You know, there's that weird sort of kind of appearance of it. It just looks lanky and weird and awkward. And it was a nice moment. And then of course to see her go across the frame from one side of the kitchen to the other, I gotta admit I laughed a little bit because it looked kind of funny. Creepy as fuck, absolutely 100%, but it was kind of funny. I think maybe, like, when you're pulling those subtle sort of creepy things out in a scene, you can go too far. I think less is more when it comes to that kind of thing. That's not to say it's not going to work, but definitely that was, I kind of just chuckled a little bit because it's kind of, you know, it's kind of funny, right? But still creepy. And then, of course, obviously, when she comes at, you know, Beverly, it was nice to see it from Beverly's point of view rather than, it was nice to see it from low angle shot, sort of from the feet, from what I can remember. I've only watched it once. These are my first impression thoughts. It was nice to see it from a low angle, seeing Beverly's reaction through the legs of you know, the woman, right? It was nice to see that rather than seeing it from Beverly's point of view and getting another at the camera. Now, will we get that when we actually watch that clip play out in the actual movie, from her point of view and like that? We might, and that's not to say it won't be creepy having an old lady, oh my God, what the fuck is this, right? But certainly there was a little too much of that in It Chapter 1, which kind of I thought was a little lame. I think, you know, it's okay to do that once, but when you rely on that 2 or 3 times, I think it kind of wears thin. So it was nice to see it sort of from a different perspective, and we can then imagine what she's seeing. Oh my God, what is she seeing? We don't need to see what she's seeing there. We actually don't. Like, we get it. Like, we know what's going on. So I really like that. I hope it plays out that way. Now the rest of the trailer was, of course, the quick cuts, and that we're back in Derry, and they're cutting between, you know, I don't know if I would have cut between the adults and the kids. It felt kind of like, oh yeah, these are them. Imagine here's this guy, here's that guy. It's like, yeah, we know that. Yeah, we don't need to, I don't know. I just, at first viewing anyway, it just felt like it was a little too, oh yeah, remember this? Like, yeah, I do. It was 2 years ago. Like it's not that long ago, right? I don't need to see you cutting between the young and the old, the young and the old, the young and the old. It was just a little too on the nose for me. But again, that's at first watching, right? I might watch it again and be like, oh yeah, okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. That was my first impression, was kind of like, it felt like they were sort of just kind of taking our hand a little bit rather than letting the imagery just speak for itself in terms of just playing to the adults, right? And I obviously don't want this movie to be all about flashbacks and, you know, every time there's a guy on screen, you know, we flash back to him as a kid. It's like, yeah, you know, we get it. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's sort of what it was illustrating to me. And I don't need that, right? You know, your audience is not as stupid as you think they are. So I think that was a little kind of thing. But the clips looked cool. I mean, it looked like what you would expect, you know. Obviously I know the area where they shot It Chapter 1 and 2 very well. It's a little town just outside of Toronto here. So I've been through it many times, and I recognize the locations. And you know, it looks good. Like, it looks good, but the first half of the trailer is much stronger than the second half, and that's primarily because you're watching a clip play out pretty much in real time. The negative to that is, now that I've seen that, really at the end of the day, I would have much preferred to watch that play out in the movie theater for the very first time. But I don't know, like, when I see really good creepy shit like that, which you rarely see in modern horror films today, the subtleties of that kind of thing, even though as the scene went on, it kind of wore off a little bit, I would much rather have seen that play out in the movie theater. But creepy's creepy. And certainly a lot of people aren't necessarily going to feel the same way as me, and they're going to love it. And certainly it's a great market. It's great for marketing, and it definitely was genuinely creepy and very much in line with the tone and the sort of the feel as the first It movie. So yeah, those are my first impression thoughts. I'm going to watch the trailer a couple more times and see how I feel about it. If anything drastically changes in terms of my opinions or views, I will definitely upload another video, but I don't think it's going to drastically change. I thought it was solid. I thought it was really good. Definitely makes me want to see it. But I think the first half of the trailer is stronger than the second half, but that's obviously because it's a clip playing out sort of in real time, and it's almost like we're watching the movie, right? So obviously that sort of speaks for itself, I guess. And the second half with the fast cuts and the clips look like what I would have expected. It looks like what I would expect when you're casting all these actors to play the adult versions of these kids. Yep. It looks good. Looks fine. You know, there wasn't anything where I'm like, what the fuck, right? But again, that doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. It could suck some serious dog shit. Who the fuck knows? But first impressions, it's a solid, good trailer. Very good trailer. Yep, absolutely. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. What did you think of the very first trailer for It Chapter 2? Did you feel the same way as me? Were there some things you want to add below because you've watched it 975,421 times already and I haven't had the opportunity to watch it twice yet? Comment below and let me know your thoughts. I would love to know. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here. The link is in the description, as well as links to everything else down there on Twitter, IMDb, my official way. That's all down there. Check it out if you want. If not, well, whatever. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to watch the trailer again now. Go grab some lunch and watch the trailer again, okay? I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.